Welcome, writers. I'm so excited for today. We are going to be designing the layout of each page of your graphic novel to make sure that you're highlighting the most important parts. All right, let's get started. So you're going to need some tools in order to be able to design the layout. And here I have this tool, Panel Layout Possibilities. So here are some ways that you can arrange the layout of the panels on the page to sort of communicate different things. So these first two options, these are layouts that can lead up to an important event. On the other hand, these two options over here, these are kind of layouts that can lead away from an important event. And then, of course, we have something here called a splash page. Now, this is something that you have to use very, very sparingly. You only want to use this for really maybe one time, first time, a big attention-grabbing moment. But it isn't also an option for you. But you got to really be judicious. That's a word. Be smart about how much you use that because you can overuse it really easily. Okay, I've also created for you kind of the same thing in slides, so that if you are creating your graphic novel using Google Slides like I'm doing, you can use Google Slides. So these first two pages here are panel pages that you can use. All you have to do is go to edit and you can copy it, and then you can go to the slide like before you want to do it, and then you can paste it and there it'll be right there. All right, I'm not going to do that, but I've created the same template pages here for each of you. 1, 2, those are the first two, is the next two. Okay, and then here's a splash page. All you have to do is copy and paste it, and then just delete this little box here, so that you can go ahead and use it. All right, I'm not going to do that right now, but that's what you need to do. All right, so how do you do this? How do you make these choices? So glad you asked. All right, so the first thing is you got to go back to that book map that you created, and you have to think, what are my characters doing and saying in this moment that I most need to communicate to my reader? So if I go back to my book map, if I'm looking at page 1, it's the first day at Middleton Middle School. Elvia is getting to class early. Maybe she's chewing her nails, I'm not sure. Maybe Natalie has some shy body language. Natalie asks Elvia, is this seat taken? You know what? Of all these ideas, I think it's really important to communicate that Natalie is asking Elvia, is this seat taken? So if I look at my tool here, well, I want to establish the setting for sure. I think I'm going to go with a splash page. That's going to establish the setting, like where this is taking place. It's at a school. I'm going to go with that one. So if I can show you my graphic novel, here I created a quick sketch, okay? Now, you'll see here, this is not the end detailed sketch. This is not the purpose of this. It's just a quick sketch with very few details, okay? When I actually go to draw this, I'll add an extra details, but that's all the more detail I'm adding. Just some lines. You could do stick figures. Just so I know in this page, if the most important thing for me to communicate is the dialogue, I have lots of space over here that Elvia can ask, is this seat taken? And now I'll be like, no, it's yours, right? Lots of space for these speech balloons that can go in here, okay? Then I just need to go back to my next page for my graphic novel and see what I want to communicate. So this one says Natalie sits next to Elvia. I think actually Elvia sits next to Natalie, right? The English teacher pairs them off for getting to know you activity. Elvia talks almost the whole time. You know what? The most important thing here is that Elvia is talking almost the whole time here. The whole time. So I definitely want to make sure I'm leaving space for that to go on. So I'm thinking I want to choose one of these layouts here. It's leading up to an important event, right? So I think I want to show like Elvia maybe talking. So maybe like a sequence, 1, 2, 3, like talking a lot. I think I'm going to go with this one right here. So take a look at my next page. This is what I would do for that next page. And again, this is not the most beautiful drawing that I could ever draw. I did draw a little bit of hair on them so I could tell which character was in this, but even that's probably too much. I probably could have just gotten away with some, stick figures in this instance. And you see I've left a lot of space up here. I've left a lot of space up here on purpose because I want to add speech balloons, lots of dialogue. And then here I've left a big space because I want to make lots of speech balloons with lots of talking. And then we're going to be able to see Natalie's face. She's just like kind of maybe overwhelmed or listening, okay? And that's what you got to do for each and every one of your page. You need to look at the page from your book map and you got to think, what are your characters doing and saying in that moment that you most need to communicate to the reader? Then, once you decide that, you can choose a layout for the page. You got to think, what size and shape of the panels best fit the dialogue and action that you're going to need to emphasize? Are you leading up to an important event? Are you leading away from an important event? Are you at a really important event? Or are you in the very beginning? You want to establish the setting for the first time? Think about that when you go to draw that. Now, you can draw a tiny thumbnail sketch of how the panel will look like, and then just repeat that for all the pages in your book map. If you don't really want to fool around with, trying to figure out the slides thing just yet, you can just do this, what I did in my notebook. I just split my page into 4 sections, and then I just laid out on each of the pages, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, with stick figures, what I wanted those panels to look like. And you're going to notice I left a lot of space in here so that I can have dialogue. I can include the dialogue. That's really important.